Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Thursday, the 23rd day of April 2026. I hope you're all safe and healthy today. I hope your families are safe and healthy and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the area of health, trying their best to save lives along with first responders, those also that pick up garbage to keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children, victims of child molestation and pedophilia. The people that are trying to help those that are victims of prostitution, child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators, profiteers, and perverts that create demands that cause these evil industries to exist. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. More than 700,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, military veterans, homeless in the United States of America. Blessings upon them. For theirs is the kingdom. Tonight in Atlanta, Georgia, State Farm Arena, the New York Knicks will be taking on Game 3 with the Atlanta Hawks. Now, Game 3 is very important. All playoff games are. But Game 3, in the sense that they're tied at 1-1, Game 3 would put a lot of pressure on the loser of this game so that they must win Saturday night. If the winner of Game 3 wins also on Saturday, it's 3-1. So it's a big game tonight. Now, I heard Carmelo Anthony saying that the Knicks have to lock in. I always thought that was silly, especially in the NBA. Listen, it's the playoffs. Everybody's locked in. The issue is not whether or not they're locking in. And a lot of Knicks fans get into this stupid, very stupid narrative of they're not trying hard enough. It's very disrespectful to a professional in any profession. Whatever profession you're in, somebody tell you you're not trying hard enough in your profession, it's disrespectful to the work you put into your profession. Very disrespectful to New York Knicks players and to pro ball players in general. There are players, and I heard Alvarado talking about this on the Roommates channel when he was a guest, by the way. That was very entertaining. Alvarado is funny as hell, and he's cool, and he's New York. He's definitely New York. So Alvarado was saying there are guys that love the game, and Carmelo said the same thing, guys that love the game, and there are guys that once they get paid, they don't care as much because they got their money, and it's guaranteed in the NBA. And that's true. But with respect to our New York Knicks, the head of the snake is Jalen Brunson. Let's start with him. He left millions, literally millions of dollars on the table, not a 2-3 million on the table. Left 100 million on the table. Why? Because he didn't care? No, it's because he wants to win. Okay? So that they can get other players to help him win, like Mikal Bridges. Okay? Karl Anthony Towns is willing to play second fiddle, a guy that all his life has been the number one option on any team he's been on. He's willing to play second fiddle and not complain with respect to Jalen Brunson. And it ain't about the money, because Karl Anthony Towns done made over $200 million, and he got another $110 million coming after this season over the next two. Guaranteed, he gonna get his money. So it ain't about the money. So what it is, love of the game, he wants to win. Do they sometimes get in their own way? Yes, but that's because they're human, just like you. They just are at a much higher, infinitely higher athletic level than you are, and I am, okay? But they care. Too many fans use a loss as their opening to start micro-analyzing, micro-criticizing my team. You could do that on X, you just can't do it on the Raw Hebrew channel. And some of y'all still ain't caught the memo. I'm trying to help you. But that's all right, I got a trick for it. But anyway, tonight's game, it's not about locking in. They're gonna be locked in, okay? It's about the chess game. Playoffs are the highest form of sports chess. There is moves and there is counter moves to everything. So in this last game, it was quite obvious, and all of us noticed it, well, most of us, that Jalen Brunson decided to try to take over the game in the fourth quarter, and it cost the Knicks the game. Okay, and they still only lost by 1 point, mind you. But one of the things that happened during the course of the game was we saw C.J. McCollum go off, okay? McCollum's a pro-level scorer, pro-level shooter, been in big games before, learned under the tutelage of Dame Dollar when he was in Portland. And so he's a high-level scorer just like Alexander Walker is. Okay, so we know that. But the Knicks were still beating their ass for 3.5 quarters. Okay, even with that. So that wasn't the factor. What was, and I didn't mention it before because it's something that happens and you can't really do anything about it, the Knicks missed 10 free throws. If they'd have hit 5 of them 10 that they missed, they win the game. Okay? And the thing is, yes, they missed free throws. It happens. The good thing about it is that we know it's not going to happen all the time. Okay? In the pros, yes, they do miss sometimes, but not all the time, not most of the time. Okay. Third, Jonathan Kuminga. The Knicks really had no answer for him in the last game they played. They really had no answer for him. And the thing is that it's okay. The reason he's so effective, I mean, he's obviously talented. I mean, Jonathan Kuminga was 18 years old when he come out of the elite or G League, whatever he was playing in, and coming to the pros with a grown-ass man body and talent or to go with it. He just needed to be developed. And you know, Golden State failed in that regard. But Quinn Snyder ain't. So they got him coming off the bench, Jonathan Kuminga. The last game he scored 19 points, 7 of 12 from the field, 1 of 4 from the three-point line, 4 of 6 from the line. Kuminga plays defense. Kuminga is an athletic freak that gets to the basket. He is not a three-point shooter. Okay. So with him playing against our second unit, he's going to try to get to the basket. They will let him shoot. Okay, because he ain't no big three-point shooter. They will let him shoot. So he's going to try to get to the basket. Okay? All right. So then we got to nullify that. Now, how do we do it? This is why you have your 4 bench pieces, which is Shamet, Deuce, Jordan Clarkson, and Mitchell Robinson, and you add to that the proper starter. Now, you can't play your starters 48 minutes. So you got to rotate them a little bit, right? So with respect to Kuminga, you got 3 options that you can rotate to guard him when the second unit's on the floor. You got Josh Hart. You got, of course, our bookends, the wingstop, OG, and McCollum. You can use any of them, and you can rotate them on Kuminga for the second unit. And I think that's got to be a focus for tonight when he comes in the game. Okay? Fourth thing, the Knicks have got to involve Shamet and Deuce offensively. Yes, they're out there to play defense, but we got 2 high-level three-point shooters. They need to include that in the game plan. Deuce is standing in the corner and not touching the ball hardly, and getting it at times in the shot clock where he's got to rush something. And Shamet is also. So you got to include them. One of the Knicks' strengths going into the series we were talking about is their bench. And one of Tom Thibodeau's shortcomings is not fully utilizing his roster and his bench. Brown should know better, and I think he does. So when we get our second unit on the floor, you need the 4 dudes that we're talking about, plus you need a starter. And Brown's been doing that, but at times what he has done is he's put Brunson out there with them, which is a little disappointing. And I'm hoping he learned that he shouldn't do that, because you're too weak defensively when you bring Brunson in with the second unit. Even though they're all really high-level defenders, you have no answer between Deuce, Shamet, and Brunson. You got no answer for Kuminga. Okay, you got no answer for him. You got them 3, then you got Mitch Rob out there and Clarkson. Clarkson, Deuce, Shamet, yeah, they're going to fight like hell against a Kuminga. But Kuminga is 6'8", with like a 40-inch vertical, and knows how to use it. So it would be better served to have a 6'7" McCall, 6'6" McCall, 6'7" OG, grown ass man, or tough as hell Josh Hart out there. It'd be better served doing that. And for the most part, I want to say, like, everybody focuses on the last score, right? And many of y'all come at me, he didn't do this and he didn't do that. Again, A loss is not your opportunity to get your jollies off by crapping on your own team. Do it 3/4 of that game, 44 minutes of that game, the Knicks was kicking their ass. Period. With all that, with McCollum going off, with Kuminga going off, with them turning the ball over, we were still beating their ass. Okay? It wasn't that. It was the collapse in the last 4 minutes due to the lack of passing, the lack of ball movement, right? The lack of defense at the end. That's what cost it. Okay? Brown, I'm sure, sees that. And just as important, I'm sure Jalen Brunson sees it. So we need to make those adjustments. Again, this is the chess game. So as far as McCollum, all you need to do is make sure that you have McCall or OG on him. And of course, they're going to switch. Somebody said, well, why don't they just stop switching? This ain't high school. This is the league. You cannot stop a team from switching in the league. You cannot. What the league does when you're in the league and not in high school or college, what happens is you want to put as many players on the floor that are switchable. So it doesn't matter who they switch. They're going to be dealing with a defender, a real defender, okay? So for the Knicks, right now, Jalen Brunson's the only dude. I mean, I can't even include Cat because Cat is playing defense. So Jalen Brunson's really the only dude that they can attack. And believe me, they're going to do that. It worked in the last game, in the last 4 minutes of the last game. So they're going to go at him. He has got to, and he's capable of fighting hard enough to make that player, whether it's McCollum or I mentioned this yesterday, go toward the sideline. He cannot allow them to go to their strong suit and come down the middle of the floor and get in the paint. He's got to fight. And he started doing it a little bit in the Atlanta game at the end, but it was too late, see? So that's what they got to do as far as that. Brunson is going to be attacked. Just like last year, Indiana won the series by attacking Brunson and Cat in the pick and roll. That's how they won the series. Brown has spent most of this season trying to teach Cat how to guard the pick and roll. Cat is still not like a lead at doing it, but he's 100% better than he was last year. 100% better. And so the key thing on the pick and roll is wherever the pick and roll is being set up, you still must stop the middle. That's the key here. Last year, Towns would get caught backing up on the pick and roll, and Halliburton's coming down the middle for a floater. You cannot, whatever you do, you allow them to go outside. You cannot allow them down the middle of the floor, period. And like I said, Cat is 100% better at doing that right now. Very much better. We have given up extra three-point shots because they're focusing so much on that, which is good, okay? So they got to continue to do that. Continue to play Knicks basketball. They did it the last game. Like I said, most of the game, they were up 10, 11, 14, 9. They kept being up. Every time Atlanta would get close, the Knicks would spread it out. That was a good sign. It wasn't until Brunson decided to do what hit the clown, the shenanigans he did in the last part of the fourth quarter that cost us the game. So, couple things. Expectations. I'm expecting the Knicks to hit their foul shots tonight. OG was very rarely off at the foul line, and he missed a couple of foul shots that he normally wouldn't miss. So that's one thing. I'm expecting Josh Hart to come with the same energy he came with in Game 2, which was tremendous. I'm expecting Jalen Brunson to understand not to try to take over the freaking game in the fourth quarter when they're doubling him. Give up the ball. I'm expecting Cat to see more touches in the fourth quarter. Okay, and they must continue to attack the glass. The Knicks were destroying them in the paint until the fourth quarter. Then they went nuts and out, and it was 58-54 in the paint. Whereas, like, by halftime, the Knicks were up by like 20 in the paint. They were killing them. And so they just need to continue to do that. What Quinn Snyder going to do is try to focus on Kuminga against the second unit. Okay, that's what I would do. He's going to try to get switches onto Brunson and attack Brunson with either Alexander Walker or McCollum. Mostly McCollum, because McCollum is good at getting in the paint and kicking out. So he's going to attack Brunson with McCollum and try to get in the paint and kick it out to people like Alexander Walker who can be unconscious from three. And that's what they're going to want to do. Defensively, they're going to be aggressive. And that's cool because the Knicks are ready for that. They tried that already in the first couple of games. The Knicks are ready for that. They're going to try to be aggressive, of course. So are the Knicks, of course. Okay, so that's up to the referees to call this game even. There's going to be missing calls, but let them miss them on both sides. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so now stick to the game plan. Don't veer from the game plan, Mr. Brunson. Stick to the game plan. Move the basketball. And again, if you're moving the ball, you just turn on Mikal Bridges and OG. When the ball is moving, they become very dangerous. Okay, when the ball is stagnant, they don't. So for the first 3.5 quarters, they were moving the ball. They need to move it for 48 minutes today. Especially since Quinn Snyder then found out, okay, I could double Brunson in the fourth. He'll force his way against my double team, and then we'll beat them. We know this. The Knicks know this. They mentioned yesterday, Hart, I believe, mentioned the film session. They were in the film. They saw, okay? They know. Now execute. That's what it is. Okay, again, if the Knicks execute their game plan, they will beat Atlanta because they're the better team. If the Knicks fail to execute their game plan like they did in the last 4 minutes of the last game, they could lose. Okay, this is game 3. Be a nice win to get down in the ATL. Okay, so let's do this down there, State Farm Arena. Get this done. It's not going to be easy. This is the playoffs. This is the league. Quinn Snyder's going to have another thing up his sleeve. He'll reveal it. Okay, he tried hack a Mitch first game. He didn't do it last game. He might go back to it this game, but then Mike countered by taking Mitch out when the Knicks are in the bonus. Okay, so that nullified it for the last game. So there's going to be more chess moves. The key thing is, this is where strategy and IQ comes in. Veteran strategy and IQ in pro basketball. So the coach has got to understand adjustments need to be made. The players, especially the head of the snake, Mr. Brunson, needs to understand that's the point guard's job to recognize what's going on the floor. Okay? That's why you like to have what we know in basketball called a coach on the floor. Now, Chris Paul was the ultimate coach on the floor, but he never won a chip because he was too bossy. That was his problem. Too bossy. Okay? And players resented that with him. But Brunson is bossy, but he does it in a more low-key manner. He can get bossy too now, but he does it in a low-key manner. So he needs to understand what they're doing. They're doubling you. They're tripling you. They want the ball out your hands. Move the freaking ball and then go off ball. Okay? Don't throw it to McCall and run to McCall to get it back. No. Okay? Let it go in the middle of Cat, and let's watch him work. Anyway, that's my 2 cents for today. Game is tonight. Let's see what we could do. Okay? Shalom.